No, lady, that was my wife. Okay, I'm going live to talk about Sheronne Moore. Now, there's nobody in the room here now, but this is going to be replayed. I don't ever go live. Is this a room? I don't know. But so I've been reading up on the Sheronne Moore scandal. Not that I'm that into sports, but I went to the University of Michigan. Now, there's all type of stuff about college sports that I didn't know anything about. First of all, what's up with that NIL thing? Image and name, image, likeness deal. So that Bryce Underwood, did you know the quarterback at U of M is getting 10 to 12 million to use his likeness? The realest reporter on the net. That's right, alive. What a treat. Well, I had to go live. Sheronne Moore, fired from my school, U of M. A millionaire, but went to jail. Well, he ain't no millionaire now, baby. So, Sheronne Moore, if you didn't know, was the head coach at the University of Michigan. 50% of NCAA, roughly, football players are African American. Less, maybe 12% of the coaches are, so there's been a push to get more. No, Michigan State was Mel Tucker. I went to the University of Michigan, the real Michigan, baby. It's not no conspiracy against them. Getting that snow bunny tang. Well, so Sheronne Moore's from Derby, Kansas, which is a suburb of Wichita. So realistically, probably, those plain Jane, middle American, dishwater, blonde women. That's probably what he grew up around. The snowcat bringing these black dudes down. Well, I mean, he brought himself down. So Sheronne's Moore, just so you know, Sheronne Moore, where he effed himself, he got fired and he snapped and he went over that girl's house, or woman. She's not a girl, she's 32. She's not a student, or none of that. He's 39, shout out from Tulsa. She's 32, he's 39, he's married with 3 kids. He went over to her house after being fired with the Knife, like the Drake song, Knife Talk, and busted in the door. So he's been charged with home invasion and 3 misdemeanors. That's right. He shouldn't have went over here. He messed up. So Sheronne Moore had a 25-year, $27.5 million contract based on, but see, here's where it gets deep. Sheronne Moore already, well, not just him, he was part of a group of people. Hey, Reflections with Kimberly. Is that Blue Heart for Crippen? Sheronne Moore was part of the sign stealing scandal that U of M just paid $20 million. U of M had to pay $20 million in fines for stealing signs when Harbaugh was coach. So if you remember, so now Michigan's coaching thing is one scandal after another. Jim Harbaugh, I didn't know this, he's banned from coaching for 10 years in college. So he's stuck. Represents life. Okay, cool. No boxes to die for, my boy. That's right. Cheers. So he had a $27.5 million contract. They had a $13.9 million buyout, meaning if he got fired for losing, now here's where we can get into the conspiracy. This is where it gets, this college football is big money. I went to Michigan. You have no idea how, some of you probably went to big universities. Big universities, there's so much money, and U of M was a top academic school, and he ain't gonna get 20 years, but he's gonna do a year in the county though. And the sports program is so massive because Michigan has a great baseball, hockey, sometimes basketball, and football. Yeah, Harbaugh, I didn't know either. Harbaugh and Sheronne Moore and 5 other guys caused they were stealing signs. Harbaugh couldn't coach for three games that Sheronne Moore coached when they won the national championship, which is what got him. He beat number 2 Ohio State. They beat Penn State. Harbaugh got the credit for the wins because he was the head coach technically, but he couldn't be on the field. Sheronne Moore was. So that he parlayed that into the head coaching job. So he gets called into the office on Wednesday, early afternoon. They tell him he's being fired. Now, remind you, $27.5 million contract with a $13.9 million buyout, meaning if they fire you because you're losing or they just don't want you as coach, they got to give you $13.9 million even if you only coach 1 year. So he'd coach 1 year, he got $5 million. Half of that, oh, well, not half, but close to half is taxes. He doesn't have no $1 million in the bank. He only got paid for 1 year. He's got 3 kids. Ann Arbor is expensive. It's the most expensive city in Michigan. Ann Arbor is nice though. He had a nice life. You have no idea. To even be a student at U of M, you feel like, oh man, I'm a big deal. The campus is always voted #1 campus. Beautiful campus, safest city. Ann Arbor is like 120,000, no crime, really nice. And they let you get away with anything. I remember when so anyways, let me finish my thought. So because he's getting fired, that woman probably tried to well, let me not say that because I don't want to get sued. What is her motivation? She was his executive assistant, Paige Shrivers. Her father was the Chicago Bears executive recruiting scout. Or not recruiting, but scout, drafting scout. So apparently she was at a game with her dad and met Sheronne Moore, who gave her a job, got her pregnant, pressured her into an abortion, doubled her salary, and then after getting pressured into the removal of the in vitro fetus, Mel Tucker from Michigan State, who had an even bigger contract, $9.5 million. He had a SA survivor, an sexual assault survivor, come up to the campus and be an honorary team captain. And then Mel Tucker, the Michigan State coach, who also happened to be African American, he's getting $9.5 million a year, and he self-pleasured himself while on the phone with a woman whose whole reason for being on campus was she had survived actual ASSAULT. No, it's MSU, Michigan State. There's University of Michigan, there's Michigan State. We're rivals. No, he ain't cooked for the optics, baby. He kicked that woman's door in. He gets fired at 1 p.m. for cause because he's having an affair and stalking. So she told them he was stalking her. So he was 17-8. This was a setup from program boosters and he fell for it. Possibly. They didn't know he was going to do this though. He stupidly cheated with her. Who knows, man? It's such big money going on. All conspiracy. All these coaches are perverts. Hey, the Penn State ones were. Somebody give me some money. I never get any damn money. Someone give me $2. So because he was getting fired with cause, he gets no $13.9 million severance. So he snaps and he goes over to her house with the knife, threatens to himself. Yep, that's right, $30 million down the drain. Well, over not being able to control yourself. What was he thinking? That's right. Part of the reason people trust, like it's hard to, it used to be to rise up in corporate America, to be the president, to get any kind of good job, you had to be married with kids. I mean, even me and my father joke. My father was never married to any woman. And so I'm like him, eligible bachelor. But it's kind of weird as you get men, like if you're not married, it seems kind of weird. They're used to, not so much now. But part of the reason is because it's supposed to mean you're stable and you're not going to do anything stupid. If I'm going to give you a $30 million contract, I don't want you to do anything stupid, right? Belichick. No, Belichick didn't do anything wrong. Belichick's retired and he just has a younger chick, which is fine. She's an adult. She's 25. This girl, Paige, went and said Sheronne was stalking her. So that gave them cause to fire him without having to pay the $13.9 million buyout. They just paid $20 million in fines. Vertical smile. What's that? A vertical smile. Oh, okay. I get it. Dolphin lips. Yeah, he fumbled the bag, man. I mean, but I'm going to tell you. So, what does the fact that I went to U of M, what can I bring to this? Well, I can tell you, when I was there in the late 90s, when Charles Woodson became the first defensive player to ever win the Heisman, I went to every game. Our tickets for home games were $13 as students. I paid $80 for a Rose Bowl ticket, came out to Pasadena, scalped it for $6.50. But Robert Tractor Trailer lived, thank you, $1.99. I'll try not to spend it all at once, but no, thank you. I lived above Robert Tractor Trailer. I had classes with Woodson. I had classes with David Bowens. What was his first name? Was it David? Who was more talented than Woodson. Well, at least his freshman year. David Bowens was blocking extra point. Like he blocked like 4 extra points. He was blocking punts. He was so talented. But he was beating people up on campus. And this is when I first realized how ghetto I might be. $50, my guy. Raymond Houston, 24. Shout out to the bro. Instead of saying on bro, I'm going to start saying on Raymond Houston. On Raymond Houston. Appreciate it. So, with Sheronne gone, I've gotten rid of everybody from the Harbor era, but they hired him after that happened, so they wanted him until he went 17-8. And as an alumni, I was joking, but that's not acceptable. Oh, how ghetto was I? David Bowens was beating everybody up beating people up on campus. He was better than Woodson. He was throwing people around. And one day I told Bowens, I was like, oh, I'm going home to Detroit this weekend. You should hang out with me. I'm going to such and such after hours. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And he was like, you're from Detroit and you go to that after hours? And I was like, yeah, that's regular. And he was like, acted like, not scared of me, but just that like I was too wild for him to hang out with. And he got kicked off the team for being assaultive on campus. And he had a better freshman season than Charles Woodson. He was blocking extra points. Frank Matthews is in Cuba. That's where Frank Matthews is, I think. Thank you again for the $50, my guy. Mr. Houston. Raymond Houston, 24. So all of the $20 from Anthony, my guy. I like this live stuff. This is cool. So all the players, Michigan's, this is back in the 90s when there was, there's way more money now. It was a joke. It really made you see America, like you going to like a U of M, which was a factory for lawyers, doctors, judges. I worked at the U of M Law School as my student job in the cafeteria. And that's a whole other story that we won't get into. But let's just say I fucked Michigan State because I got into U of M, which is a better school. #1 public university in the country. Donos. These guys did it to themselves. Mel Tucker was getting $9.5 million a year, man. That's a lot of money. So he kicked her door, and he's charged with home invasion, which is bad. And show of hands, anybody growing up, I'm sure some of you, not like, because I know I was at times with my mother when there was domestic violence, not with my father, but different men. When there's some man kicking the door in, it's pretty scary for a woman or a little kid. So they don't, that's a serious, if he broke in her house, now she could be exaggerating, she might have let him in. But it sounds like he got fired. He knew the $30 million was gone. He's not getting a $13.9 million buyout, which if they had just fired him for being 17 and 8, they would have had to give him $13.9 million, and he could have kept it pushing, which he probably wouldn't have minded. But he blew it all. I didn't know Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports. I'm class of 99 U of M economics. He's class of 99 School of Education, which was Michigan's like weakest. Michigan was strong economics, business school. We had like the number 3 econ program. Econ was so hard at Michigan. We had econ, a medical school, all this stuff. Portnoy went to the School of Education, which was like if you couldn't make it in one of the big boy majors. I chose all the people. I should have tried to be friends with Charles Woodson and Dave Portnoy. I had classes with Charles Woodson. He was from a small town. It's funny, a lot of these guys, the people that make it, well, all these people from small towns, no one from Detroit. They were all getting, the few people that were from Detroit, like, were getting kicked out or couldn't. The Detroit public schools didn't prepare the few of us that were there. I had to recalibrate my study efforts after the first semester, but then I was good. I was magna cum laude after that. Yeah, Woodson went to class. This chick denied the relationship months earlier. Then she goes back with the evidence. Yeah, could be some type of, they wanted to get rid of him. He was 17 and 8, which is not acceptable for a U of M coach. And they probably wanted to be rid of him. Now, the conspiracy of they're going to, well, if you have her say something and you save the university $13.8 million, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Mel Tucker cost himself $10 million a year. Her salary increased from $58 to $90K. First black coach at U of M. So Michigan State and Michigan each put a black coach in, and immediately SEX scandal with a white woman. But just, I like to use statistics. Always remember, there's about 5.5 white people for every black person in the United States. So if a black person is from a mainstream type of environment, they're not from an all-black city, and chances are they're going to be interacting with white people. It doesn't mean they're chasing around white women just because. That guy's from Derby, Kansas, suburb of Wichita. That's again, plain Jane, dirty dishwater blonde white women is probably who we went to high school with. And that's who's at U of M. U of M is down to 1%. It was 5% black when I was there. It's 1% now after they ended affirmative action. So yeah, he didn't cost himself $30 million, but he cost himself $25 million. His wife's white as well. I mean, there's not very many black people in Ann Arbor. So that's who So Sheronne Moore parlayed his career. He was Nick Saban's defensive backs coach. They won a national championship. Then he gets with Harbaugh. Football is funny, though. It's so many players and so many coaches that you could assigning success and saying, "Oh, it's because of the coach. He'll never coach again. He's going to jail." No, it wasn't 50 million. He had a $27.5 million contract, of which he was probably paid once. Probably paid for 1 year, $5.5 million. So he probably cost himself 25 million. He really, yeah. He was going to get fired anyways, and he would have got the $13.9 million buyout. So he ain't going to Jackson's clothes, baby. They don't even call it that. He's not going to get a prison. He'll get a year in the county for that. I would imagine. He's not going to go to prison. But he'll get it. I mean, he's not a millionaire. Why would he be a millionaire? He got one $5 million yearly payout. 40% is taxes. He pay off some bills. He's got a wife and 3 kids. Life's expensive. He may not be a millionaire. It's easy to spend money. Trust me. Washtenaw County, baby. Well, you shouldn't be cheap. Listen, one thing I say, this is why I don't lie to women. I don't tell women I love them. I'm not your boyfriend. If you're going to get married, have 3 kids, why cheat? And then you put yourself in this type of position. But to go back to what I was saying about living above tractor trailer and having class with these guys, everybody on the football team and the basketball team, including the white offensive linemen who you didn't even know who they were, all of them had new trucks. Wasn't just like a tractor trailer who you knew he was a recruit. Everybody, they all had money. They all had stuff. Yeah, they went to class, but they probably got hooked up. I had what did I have with them? I had they were freshmen and I might have been a sophomore. David Bowens, look up David Bowens, U of M. He was blocking punts. Him and Woodson were amazing, but it was amazing to watch Charles Woodson win the Heisman from the defensive side. He didn't cheat with the woman from the department. He hired her. Look, they let him hire her as executive assistant. Mel Tucker, not Mo Taylor. Maurice Taylor, the basketball player. No, he wasn't a black punter. He was blocking punts. He was a you got me talking crazy. He was a linebacker. He was not a black punter. He was a linebacker. Who was that got paralyzed against Penn State? I don't know. She assisted all right. Blocking punts, yes, not kicking punts. But did you know one of the best punters of all time in NFL history, Reggie Roby, was of the melanated persuasion, Miami Dolphins, linebacker. That's not funny, Raymond Houston. Oh, wait, you're black, so you get to say it. Linebacker. That's a good one. Look up Reggie Roby, Miami Dolphins, 1980s, punter, one of the best. Strategic use of the punt, pin you. They got you right where we didn't do well on offense, but we got you right where we want you. We're going to bring out our dominant punter. Reggie Roby was the first 2 chains. What in the hell does that mean? Reggie Roby, dominant punter. He could pin you. He put you at your own 6-yard line. Did he play for the Redskins? You mean the Washington, what do they call now? The Generals, the Chieftains, the Nationals, the Redskins. Wow, what an offensive name. I'm just saying. I mean, some of the DEI stuff was right. Like shouldn't be. Washington Commanders. Yeah, Redskins is kind of crazy. Oh, you guys should start a thing where you tell Trump to change the name back to the Redskins. Fuck it. Trump's so crazy and racist, we might as well just embrace it. He should change all the names back to the racist names. Who wants the Washington Commanders? Show of hands. And if you find that offensive, I'm just kidding. More Al Prophet lives. You can't make this stuff up. No, but okay. Did you guys know this? You guys know who Bryce Underwood is? Do you know who Bryce Underwood is? He's their quarterback. I didn't know about the NIL thing. Do you guys know about the NIL thing? Randall Cunningham has the longest punt. Oh, it probably bounced. Is that true? You just looked it up? Commander's not a good name. Well, yeah, QB for LSU. He's probably going to leave. He's from Detroit, and probably getting a black coach probably sold him to come to Michigan. He's doing really well. He's a great NIL name. You know how much Bryce Underwood's getting? 10 to 12 million while he's in college. Which I don't have a problem with. I'm just saying it's so. You know what I feel sorry for? Do you guys? He went to Belleville. He was born in Detroit. Do you remember? What the hell was I about to say? Oh, Maurice Clarett. That's who I feel bad for. Maurice Clarett took Ohio State to the national championship. He was a running back, not a line blacker, a running black. And he had a lot of, man, them Ohio State people would have gave them their white daughters when he won the national championship. And as soon as that was over, he had problems. He did some robberies. He was like doing like armed robberies. But if he would have had a name, image, likeness deal, he would have at least had some money to fall back on. Yeah, Maurice Clarett won the championship. I'm glad Maurice is doing well now. I read articles on him, but he had a lot of rough, I ain't on no damn 8 Mile. LA, baby. Look, the Hollywood, see, that's the Hollywood side. Well, see those mountains? See them mountains, my G? Yeah, this ain't 8 Mile. They banned him from going to the league as a freshman. Oh, Maurice Clarett. So they didn't have that NIL. What do you guys think about the NIL? Why even have college sports if you're going to have an NIL, right? And then there's gambling on everything. You like that, Raymond Houston? Running black. This is pretty good. And it's a pro. Do you know my father? He feels like, he says you can't call. Where is the interview I did with G-Rock? Is it not up? It's somewhere. But G-Rock is my man. I can interview him again. I just was talking to G-Rock. A.K.A. G Rizzy from the Mizzy. The Mizzy is 7 Mile. Speaking of interview with G-Rock, did you know that Blade Icewood was going to walk again? Blade Icewood had been going to Peru or Ecuador. Peru. And if you see his autopsy, well, I've seen his autopsy, he had scars on his tendon, Achilles, because they were putting in stem cells. He was getting stem cells. Blade Icewood was going to walk again. That was the unreleased part of the G-Rock video I lost. I had so much stuff. R.I.P. to the guy. Do you know the guy? When I interviewed G-Rock in that mansion, the guy, their friend, our other friend, I mean, I met him that day, but he's another Detroit guy. He's R.I.P. and I shout out to him. R.I.P. to him. But yeah, I'll get another G-Rock interview going to you. 40 fucking million, look into that. Ohio State's NIL spending $35 million. So they say Larry Ellison's, or no, the son Ellison's wife and Dave Portnoy. So do alumni come up with the money now in a straightforward manner to pay the NIL? Utah is about to fuck up the NIL stuff? Oh no, stem cell stuff works. Shout out to my street cousin Alex. He had a bad car accident a couple years ago, and he went and got stem cells in his feet. Yeah, stem cells works. It's just not really in the U.S., but you can go to Tijuana and do it. It works. But Blade was doing it because they had money. Don't think Detroit street people are sophisticated. He was down in Peru back in '0. Blade Icewood's brother had big, big dollars. He did some time for a big reefer conspiracy, but they had real money. But yeah, he was in Peru getting stem cell. He was going to walk again, and that was way back then. Okay, you guys, my battery is going to die, but I just gave you some Blade Icewood info. Sheronne Moore. No, peptides don't work like stem cells, baby. So alumni pay the NIL. So they've made, so the thing that they used to, see, okay, here's the fall of America. The very things that they used to tell you were immoral. An alumni bought a player a dinner, a lunch. We're going to suspend them. Now they're just blatantly, they come up with the money. Oh, so Dave Portnoy could pay for anyone he wants. Dave Portnoy could control college sports. He has so much damn money. And then all the gambling stuff. Wow. That's terrible. Okay, so I predict Sheronne Moore is going to have to plead out and do 6 months to a year for the home invasion. Here it is in a nutshell. He blew a $13.9 million buyout. They wanted to fire him. He was 17 and 8. He did have a white wife with 3 children. Well, he still does. That woman denied the affair. He hired her as an executive. They knew. See, U of M knew what was going on because she was hired as his. Why the fuck does a football coach need a young female executive assistant? That's a recipe for disaster waiting to happen. Trust me. I was executive assistant to a woman at U of M. Recipe for disaster. All right, so I'm going to get off the live. Thank you for the donations. DEI for white women. That's right. Blackmail. I don't think it's, well, speaking of blackmail, and not blackmails, Blackmail, M-A-I-L, Rick Pitino. Now, Jameel Hill came out and was like, the white coaches get a second chance, but the black coaches don't. Now, this Rick Pitino didn't kick anybody's door in. Rick Pitino got a woman pregnant at Louisville, and she blackmailed him. He told the FBI, testified against her. She went to jail. My best friend in middle school, his aunt was on the Detroit City Council. When she died, she was under indictment for accepting bribes. And her adopted daughter, I'm not going to say her name, me and her were friends back in the day, but I remember I saw her face on the front page of the paper. The Detroit News went this is a long time ago. She got convicted of I've never looked anybody up on a prison thing and saw blackmail. My best friend in middle school, his female cousin, the city councilwoman's daughter, she extorted like a Ford Motor Company, said I don't know what she said he did, but they convicted her of blackmail. So that stuff does go on. Was she trying to get some money from the school? If Sheronne Moore had been, so he was 17 and 8. If he had been 23 and 2, this wouldn't have come out. He was super lucky to get a first chance. He won't go. Where he messed up. You can't trust. He should have just accepted it. But I'm gonna tell you, you live in a bubble. When you're at a university like Michigan, it's a bubble, man. You really feel like you're in heaven. When I got there, coming from Detroit to Ann Arbor campus, it was like heaven. I remember when people asked me I remember somebody came up to me and it was like, Al, what's wrong? Who are you about to fight? And I was like, what are you talking about? And they said, you always walk around with your fists balled up. And that was just from living in Detroit. You walk around with your fists balled up. And then I learned not to do that at Michigan. But Sheronne Moore was the opposite. He came from a nice environment, lived his life in a bubble. You think nothing bad can ever happen to you, and you do too much. You fly too close to the sun like Icarus. I was ready to throw down. That was what we used to say in elementary school in the 80s in Detroit. Do you want to throw? But we wouldn't even say down because we were too cool. You just say, do you want to throw? You want to throw. All right? Stay away from the knives. Don't pull no knives on no women. Shout out to the guys. Shout out to my man who gave me $50. Shout out to my man who gave me $20. The Italian-American gentleman you appeared to be. Salute to you, sir. And shout out to Kimberly who got me started with $1.99. You all have a great weekend and be safe. Thank you so much. Thank you. I gotta feed the streets. My pistol gonna bleed the streets. Ski mask on my face. Some says you gotta cheat to stay ahead in this picture. Drink syrup like it's liquor. Street life will have you catching up to God quicker. How do I stop this?